Hi, Paul.
Hey,
How are
Karen.
you?
I'm good, thanks.
What would you like coaching on today?
Yeah. Um, well, I think where I'd like some coaching is around my relocation back to the United States. I've been living in Europe for about the last 9 years or so, and while I'm an American originally, it's been kind of tough coming back.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Yeah, and so a little bit of culture shock going on, and a new job, and I'm bringing my family with me and feeling really responsible for everyone settling in. And
Yeah.
yeah,
What's been the hardest part, Paul?
I think what's been hardest has been, um, I had really, I think I had built up coming back to the U.S. As a way, as answering a lot of questions for me, or something that I really wanted to do. And I think I created an image of what life would be like back here that probably never existed for me, but it was sort of this fantasy world. And then it's been kind of coming to grips with the reality of being back, and all the good and all of the not so good, and sort of just a bit of a fantasy
Mm-hmm.
deflated a little. Yeah.
Yeah, I could totally understand how that would be.
Yeah.
So there you are overseas, and you're thinking
Hmm.
about coming to the States, and in your mind's eye, there's one sort of reality, and then you make the decision to come, and then you get here, and it feels very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like a little sad,
Mm-hmm.
you know, a little sad.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I've changed a lot. The country's changed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And
which is normal.
and disappointed, I hear
A
too.
little disappointed. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm,
Yeah.
disappointed dream.
Yeah, I guess that would be it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to let it get in the way of all of the other good stuff, but it's just showing up a lot these days.
So we're not going to let it get in the way at all of all the other good stuff. And let's linger just a moment on the
Mm.
disappointment. We'll move on, I promise, to those other things. But I want to stay for a moment with what it's like to have been overseas with your, heart in your
Mm.
throat and make the decision to make the leap and then find that the ground isn't what you thought it was.
Yeah. Hmm.
Is it scary?
It's scary. I think the biggest part is, it's, and when I left the United States, I was married, but I didn't have any children, and now I'm coming back, and I have two little ones and one on the way. So it's more of, I feel very responsible for bringing them into a really safe and secure place. And I think because I feel a little scared and a little insecure about where I am,
Mm-hmm.
it sort of exacerbates it a little bit by
Mm-hmm.
thinking like, oh, I should have this all figured out
Mm-hmm.
already.
Yeah. Sort of like where's their soft place to land too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and like I can't really spend time taking care of myself. I've got to make sure that they're okay.
Mm-hmm. And where is there, and with your children and your family, where is there a soft place to land?
Hmm.
Do you understand the
I
question?
do,
Yeah.
yeah. And the thing is that uh, it's like the irony is they don't care.
Mm,
They just want to be together.
mm-hmm.
You know, um, and and as long as we're together, that's sort of 99% really.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, their soft place is with me.
Right.
It's just being together where we are, I guess, is not so important for them.
Mm-hmm. But for you, it feels like you want that firm ground to stand on.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, maybe the image I'd use is sort of the sense that I sort of, and I take pride in doing it, but I kind of carry them on my shoulders a little.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be that safe place for them to stand, and when I know that my own footing is a little tricky,
Mm-hmm.
that's what makes me nervous.
It really touches me as you're talking, actually. I think of you carrying them on your shoulders and the fear that you might stumble
Mm.
and what would happen then.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And so, as you think of carrying them into this new world, into this new life, you could carry them on your shoulders.
Mm.
Where else might you carry them
Hmm.
besides your shoulders?
Yeah, I mean, I've always thought of like physically carrying them on my body, but I guess there's a way of, um, I can carry them, I could like pull them in a cart or something, or, or like in my arms,
Uh-huh.
or I could have them walk beside me so that,
Hmm. There's an intuition I have. There's an instinct that I have that you need to carry them on your body somewhere,
yeah.
not behind you or beside you, although they walk beside you. And the thing that comes up for me is to carry them in your heart.
Mm.
What opens up when you stand in that way of looking at it?
Yeah. I mean, that's where they live anyway, it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
And my hunch is, I don't know your family, but my hunch is that that's where they want to be.
Yeah.
That's really all that matters to them.
Yeah. And I think I get so caught up with this idea of having to provide
Yeah.
and, that I probably shut off my heart a little bit,
Mm.
that I don't, because I'm so carried away with making sure that I'm carrying them right. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I guess maybe the irony of it is that where they really want to be held is, that I'm not letting them in there right now.
So what's it like for you? Wow, that's big. What's it like for you to really let in that what they want and what they need from you is your heart, not your labor, your manly
Yeah.
providing?
Yeah. Well, so a couple of things. When you say that, it feels much easier.
Mm.
Like that's a very easy place for me to hold them.
Mm-hmm.
Like any weight I can carry there for forever.
Mm-hmm.
That's not there's no burden.
There's no heaviness
Yeah,
there.
there's no heaviness when I
Mm.
carry them there.
Mm.
Um,
I get a sense of a loop, a circling of energy.
mm.
Does anything in there?
Yeah, no. So yeah, that's interesting because there's a way that actually carrying them there feeds me.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually my strength comes from holding them there.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I get, yeah, that loop thing is sort of that it's, because it's just felt heavy and laborious lately. And,
Mm-hmm.
literally like I've been, trying to carry them on my head or my shoulders, across a rocky path. And it's just been really exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the idea of them in my heart because that's what feeds me.
And what opens up for them? That's what opens up for you. You're
Yeah.
nourished. What opens up for them when you carry them there? What becomes available that wasn't available before?
Mm. I think for them, you know, it I think just a lot of strength,
Mm-hmm.
especially for my children,
Mm-hmm.
when they come from that place of being loved and being close to me, that I can see their confidence,
Mm-hmm.
their security. I think that they come from a very strong foundation then,
Mm-hmm.
that sort of where we are and maybe the good and bad of any location you're in is not really that relevant when it's all about the people you're with, and you just focus on that.
And they have that foundation of relationship to come from.
Yeah.
It feels like something like, I don't know, I can't find the right words exactly, but some kind of adventure spirit, or like they have more room to explore and to succeed and fail and make their own mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a less. I mean, I like the way you put it about carrying them in my heart, because it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely feels just a lot more spacious and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like it's not nice to have to carry someone, and it's also not that great to have to be carried.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's also sort of not. Yeah, you're limiting someone
Yeah.
when you're making them stay in that position.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here you are now, you've arrived on American shores
Mm.
and you're carrying your family in your heart.
Yeah.
What's most important to pay attention to? What's the most important thing then from that place?
Yeah. Yeah, that's easy. I mean, just to make sure that we stay really connected as a family,
Mm-hmm.
that we make the time to physically be together,
Mm-hmm.
and and really, you know, I guess partly what also comes up is to start seeing the world a little bit more through my children's eyes.
Mm.
You know, who like I said at the beginning, probably don't really care or frankly notice that they're in a new place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as long as we're, you know, their mom and dad are around them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's connection, keeping that connection and not getting sidetracked by stuff that's not really that important.
Mm. And what do you need to, I mean, that's perfect, and I'm wanting to make it a little bit more real. What do you need to put into place, or what do you need to pay attention to so that you know that's addressed, that need will stay primary, to stay connected and be in partnership with each other, really?
Yeah. It's a good question. Yeah. So what comes up for me is there's something about like a physical reminder of that for me.
Mm.
You know, it's such busy days with, you know, I'm starting a new job. I'm
Mm-hmm.
in a new, you know, I'm back to the United States, but in a new place in the United States. I've never lived in this area.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like lots of things that just pull my attention.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's probably something that, you know, that's near me, or, you know, that I have that kind of recenters me when I get a little crazy, which happens a lot.
That keeps you returning to that place of heart.
Yeah.
And the connection that lives there.
Yeah.
Do you have some thoughts about what that might be? That anchor?
Yeah. You know, it sounds strange, but the first thing that came up when you asked was, my daughter made these like sort of little bracelet things in her like, you know, preschool class,
Uh-huh.
out of this wire that's sort of, you know, weaved together a little bit. So I imagined sort of having her make one for me, you know, and I don't know that she'll understand it, but actually telling her why, you know, that she sort of makes it from, you know, with that as an intention behind it.
Yeah.
And to wear that. Yeah.
I think you may be surprised at how much she understands
Yeah.
about that.
I think you're right.
So having her make you actually the anchor that holds the circle together, the circle of this family, across the distance and the miles now and through whatever may arise as you make your way in this new land.
Yeah.
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 And then you've got your anchor. Does anything shift about priorities in terms of, I know you're looking for a place to live and stuff like that. Look through that lens for a moment. Does anything open up there?
It does. Yeah. I mean, it really is a lot less stressful. Like, you know, I mean, so I want to make sure it's a nice place, and I'll take care of the basics, but I think I've spent way too much time obsessing on the details and thinking that somehow, you know, the layout of the house is going to actually impact which of course I say now and I laugh, but you know,
right.
That's kind of what I've been thinking, is like, you know, these are the decisions that are going to make us happy or not. And,
yeah,
you know, of course that's a bit absurd. So yeah, I mean, that's what shifts. It just feels, you know, as long as I keep my family and my wife and I keep the kids right there at the center, and, you know, I sort of see us kind of huddled together, that, you know, we can make an adventure of anything. So yeah.
And the sort of the distinction that opens up for me as you're speaking, Paul, is the difference between doing it alone, you know, really carrying it all alone, and like you're the one alone who needs to make it happen, and really realizing that you're a part of a powerful circle where people know their role in the circle, and that there's different ages in this circle, but that everybody has a job to do. And when that circle is freed up to move, the energy moves also in sort of miraculous ways, you know, and you don't have to be in it alone anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that image of being part of the circle, not having to carry the circle.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's, I mean, there are many, many things, opportunities for you in this, I don't know, learning or growth opportunities, but that strikes me as the biggest one.
Yeah.
Is how do you really let go of being the one and let yourself be one of the ones in your circle?
Yeah. It's, that's big for me. It's not easy.
Yeah.
And I get that it's, um, something you said that for me was really powerful was that it's not just about what then opens up for me, but actually what opens up for them.
Yeah.
That there's actually a way of serving them by doing it. And I'd never really thought of it that way. I thought of it more just as lightening my load and not freeing them up. Yeah.
So I want to leave you with you've got your structure and you're going to ask your daughter to make the bracelet for you.
Yeah.
When will you do that?
I'm going to see her on Friday.
Okay.
So absolutely on Friday, I'm going to do that.
That makes me smile to think about that conversation.
Yeah, I can't wait. It makes me smile too.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good. And maybe you'll just drop me an email and let me know how it went. I'd be interested to hear.
I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I also want to leave you with an inquiry to just ponder and chew on and help me sort of fiddle with it so the words are just right, okay? But it's something in the direction of what is it to be in partnership or to be in, what is it to be in, I can't think of the right word. Not alone is what I'm going for, but I don't want to, does a word rise to mind that, what is it?
It's sort of, I love that image of a circle, being part of a circle, not having to be the circle.
Great.
So there's something about like, what does it mean, to be able to lead my family from a place of sort of being part of it, not carrying it and having to do everything.
Great.
Or something, yeah.
So what is it to be in the circle rather than to carry the circle?
Yeah.
What is it to be in the circle rather than to carry the circle?
Yeah, that lands with me. The circle
Good.
Metaphor definitely does.
And really look at it chew on it, look at it from lots of different directions, from the bottom and the top. And the great thing about an inquiry is that the more you sit with the question and just let yourself mull over it, the more it opens up. So it's not about finding the answer. It's about just letting yourself reflect on that question and see what opens up for you.
I get it.
Okay?
Okay.
What's clear to me is, there's a couple of things. First of all, there's this great... if I close my eyes and get an image in my mind, I get the picture of a valley just laid out at your feet. So there's lots of challenge, but there's a huge amount of opportunity here for the circle that you're in. And the other thing that I really want to notice is how much you love your family and how much you let them nourish you.
Yeah.
And feed you like a tree. They water your roots, Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.